Let's start our first news. Conor has finally broken his silence after the heartbreaking loss to Max Holloway, releasing a short but emotional video message that immediately caught the attention of the MMA world. The former two-division champion appeared calm, focused, and determined despite the disappointment surrounding his recent defeat. During the video, Conor was seen celebrating a birthday moment with family and friends, smiling as he wished, "Happy birthday to the little man." The atmosphere was light, but the message that followed carried a completely different tone. Looking directly ahead, Conor repeated the same statement several times. "We'll be back." The words were simple, but the meaning behind them was powerful. Even after suffering one of the toughest setbacks of his career, Conor made it clear that he has no intention of walking away from competition. He once again repeated, "We'll be back," before making the sign of the cross and saying, "In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Amen." The video ended with Conor encouraging those around him, saying, "Let's go, let's go." It was a brief appearance, but it sent a strong message to both supporters and critics that his fighting spirit remains alive. Meanwhile, in another major development, Khabib was recently asked about Conor's return during an interview. However, the former lightweight champion showed absolutely no interest in discussing the topic. According to those present, Khabib quickly moved past the question and refused to offer any comments regarding Conor's future plans or comeback. Elsewhere, Michael Venom-Page confirmed that he plans to remain in the middleweight division for the foreseeable future as he continues exploring new opportunities in the UFC. Move on to another news. Justin Gaethje has reportedly shut down recent comments coming from Paddy Pimblett, putting an end to growing speculation surrounding a potential rivalry between the two lightweight contenders. While details behind the scenes remained private for a long time, it appears both sides have now reached an understanding regarding the situation. According to the latest discussion, emotions have been running high across the MMA community, with several fighters opening up about personal struggles and challenges outside of competition. One fighter admitted that dealing with grief has not been easy, explaining that emotions often arrive in waves. He explained that some days feel normal and productive, while other days can be incredibly difficult and unpredictable. It was an honest reminder that even elite athletes face battles away from the spotlight. Meanwhile, another story began gaining traction after Carlos Ulberg shared a cryptic message on his Instagram story that many fans believe was directed toward Izzy. In the post, Carlos wrote, "I may just hit my own podcast and get some facts out there," followed by several eye emojis that immediately fueled speculation throughout the MMA world. At the bottom of the message, Carlos added another short statement, writing, "Fax me," creating even more curiosity about what information he may be preparing to reveal publicly in the near future. The MMA community also reacted to comments made by Michael Chandler regarding Conor's future. Chandler once again expressed confidence that Conor will eventually return and even suggested that a fight between them could still happen someday. Fans had plenty to say in response. Some joked that they skipped Chandler updates entirely, while others laughed at his continued optimism regarding a matchup with Conor. The reactions showed that the topic continues to generate major discussion throughout the sport. Move on to another news. The MMA community was left surprised after it was announced that Belal Pereira had officially been removed from the UFC roster following his recent unanimous decision loss against Shara Bullet. The decision immediately sparked backlash from fans and fighters alike, with many arguing that the circumstances surrounding the defeat made the release difficult to justify. One of the biggest points of controversy came from the fight itself, where Shara Bullet was accused of committing multiple fouls throughout the contest. Among the incidents mentioned by fans was repeated hair pulling, yet referee Herb Dean chose not to issue a point deduction during the fight. That decision quickly became a major talking point, with critics questioning whether the outcome of the bout may have been affected by the lack of penalties. Others also pointed toward the inconsistency of roster decisions, noting that several fighters with longer losing streaks remain under contract. Many fans specifically mentioned Tai Tuivasa, who remains on the UFC roster despite being on a 7-fight losing streak. Meanwhile, Michel had won one of his last 5 appearances and was coming off a split decision victory over Zach Reese before suffering the defeat to Share a Bullet. One fighter who was clearly not happy with the situation was Alex Pereira. The former champion has already voiced frustration with officiating in recent months, particularly after Herb Dean did not penalize Cyril Gane for repeated strikes to the back of the head during their fight at the White House event. Alex addressed the latest controversy through an emotional message posted to Instagram. In his statement, Alex explained that releasing a fighter under these circumstances was impossible for him to accept. He wrote that perhaps the decision would have been easier to understand if it had happened earlier in the fighter's career. But paying such a high price because of what he viewed as a refereeing mistake was unacceptable. Alex also stated that the UFC has always done everything within its power to support him, but admitted that seeing situations like this still makes him upset. He warned fellow fighters that remaining silent could eventually hurt everyone involved, because tomorrow the same thing could happen to another athlete. He finished by saying that it was sad that even the UFC appeared unable to control situations like these, and because of that, the sport continues to be tarnished. Several Brazilian fighters quickly rallied behind Michel in support. Michel himself responded with emotional emojis, while Johnny Walker called him "our showman" and urged the promotion to bring him back. Kyle Barallo also joined the movement, posting a simple message calling for Michel's return to the UFC roster. Move on to another news. Kamaru Usman has been reflecting on some of the biggest moments of his recent career, including his difficult loss to Khamzat and the challenges that followed. Despite the setback, many analysts and fighters still believe that Kamaru remains one of the most dangerous competitors in the UFC, especially when it comes to wrestling. One person who strongly believes in Kamaru's chances moving forward is Chael Sonnen. During a recent discussion, Chael explained why he thinks Kamaru would be a terrible matchup for Duplessis if the two ever share the octagon. According to Chael, many fans have forgotten just how elite Kamaru's wrestling credentials truly are. He pointed out that people often focus on the striking improvements Kamaru made throughout his title reign, while overlooking the foundation that made him champion in the first place. Chael reminded fans that Kamaru is a national champion wrestler and was once viewed as a legitimate Olympic prospect heading into 2012. While some critics downplay his accomplishments because he competed at the Division II level instead of Division I, Chael argued that becoming a national champion at any level remains an incredible achievement. He also mentioned that many people expected Colby to simply take opponents down at will because of his wrestling background, only to realize that elite wrestling at the UFC level is far more complicated than fans often assume. Because of that, Chael believes Kamaru absolutely has the tools needed to defeat Duplessis if that matchup ever becomes reality. Meanwhile, Sean Strickland recently shared high praise for UFC welterweight Yaroslav Amosov. According to Sean, the undefeated grappler possesses even better wrestling and grappling skills than Khamzat. Sean described Amosov as a future world champion and praised not only his technical abilities, but also his personality outside competition. He referred to him as both an incredibly hard worker and a genuinely funny person, while emphasizing that his grappling skills are among the best he has ever seen inside the gym. Elsewhere, Paulo Costa and Josh Hokett have continued exchanging words on social media following UFC 327. The tension began after Hokett received a performance bonus for his unanimous decision victory over Curtis Blaydes. Costa, however, was frustrated after failing to receive a bonus despite scoring an impressive TKO win over Azamat Murzakanov. The disagreement quickly spilled onto social media, creating yet another heated rivalry as fighters continue battling for recognition, bonuses, and opportunities at the highest level of the sport. Move on to another news. Dana White has officially announced that Conor Benn will step into the ring against Ryan Garcia in what is expected to become one of the biggest boxing events of the year. The announcement immediately generated massive excitement among combat sports fans, with many already discussing the potential implications of the matchup. Meanwhile, Another major story has continued to dominate headlines in the MMA world, following Izzy's decision to leave City Kickboxing after spending years training with the legendary gym. Last week, Izzy publicly confirmed that he would be parting ways with the team that helped shape his championship career. The announcement came after months of speculation surrounding his future and his relationship with several members of the gym. Earlier this year, rumors began circulating about possible tension between Izzy and current UFC light heavyweight champion Carlos Ulberg, who also trains at City Kickboxing. The two were previously viewed as close friends and teammates, but fans started noticing changes in their public interactions over recent months. Additional online speculation pointed toward personal issues potentially affecting their relationship, including unverified allegations involving Izzy's former partner. However, none of the individuals involved publicly confirmed those claims, and they remain strictly speculation. Fans also highlighted several moments that appeared unusual to longtime followers of both fighters. Carlos did not publicly react following Izzy's loss to Joe Pyfer, while Izzy remained silent after Carlos captured the UFC light heavyweight championship by defeating Jiri Prochazka. Many supporters viewed those absences as significant because Izzy has traditionally celebrated the success of teammates and close friends throughout his career. Another detail that fueled speculation was Izzy's YouTube activity. Following UFC 327, where Carlos became champion, Izzy did not release his usual fight breakdown or reaction video, despite regularly posting analysis after major pay-per-view events. Eventually, Izzy addressed the situation directly through a video uploaded to his YouTube channel. In the video, he revealed that he had spoken privately with head coach Eugene Berryman and informed him of his final decision. According to Izzy, on Wednesday, May 20th, he met Eugene face-to-face and told him clearly that he would not be returning to City Kickboxing. The announcement marked the end of an ERA that helped produce one of the most successful championship runs in modern UFC history. Move on to another news. Chael Sonnen continues to stand firmly behind Kamaru Usman, recently explaining why he believes the former welterweight champion would be a terrible matchup for Duplessis if the two fighters ever meet inside the octagon. According to Chael, many fans continue to overlook the wrestling credentials and physical strength that made Kamaru one of the most dominant champions in UFC history. While discussions often focus on striking or recent performances, Chael believes Kamaru's grappling foundation changes everything in a matchup against Duplessis. The conversation surrounding potential future opponents has only intensified as fighters continue moving between divisions and exploring new opportunities. During a recent interview, one heavyweight contender even discussed the possibility of changing weight classes for the right fight. The fighter revealed that he currently weighs around 234 pounds and feels comfortable making the move to heavyweight if the opportunity presents itself. He explained that certain opponents make the transition more appealing, especially larger fighters who naturally compete with more size and power. The discussion eventually shifted toward recent performances at the White House event, where several fighters delivered memorable moments on one of the biggest stages in combat sports history. One athlete in particular received praise for both his performance and his post-fight interview. However, not everyone was completely convinced by everything that was said afterward. A fighter admitted that he had heard several rumors and theories surrounding the situation, and even jokingly described himself as somewhat of a conspiracy believer when discussing the topic. Despite hearing the speculation, he made it clear that he had no intention of publicly judging anyone involved or jumping to conclusions without knowing all of the facts. The conversation later moved toward another potential super fight that has already started generating attention throughout the MMA community. There is growing speculation that a future matchup against Alex Pereira could be under consideration, and many fighters appear interested in seeing how that contest would play out if negotiations ever become serious. For now, the focus remains on upcoming opportunities and the possibility of several massive fights being made in the near future. Move on to another news. Paulo Costa has revealed that he would be willing to fight Josh Hokett at heavyweight if the opportunity ever presents itself, adding another layer to the growing rivalry between the two fighters following UFC 327. Meanwhile, Dana White officially confirmed one of the biggest boxing matches of the year, announcing that Ryan Garcia will defend his world welterweight title against Conor Ben on September 12th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Garcia enters the contest as the reigning world champion and Ring Magazine's fifth-ranked welterweight in the world. He currently holds an impressive record of 25 victories, with 20 of those wins coming by knockout, proving once again why he remains one of boxing's biggest stars. Standing across from him will be Conor Ben, who also carries an impressive professional record and enters the fight with plenty of momentum. His only professional defeat came against Chris Eubank Jr., but he quickly avenged that loss and returned to winning ways. The rivalry between Garcia and Ben has intensified over recent months, with both men exchanging messages and verbal shots across social media platforms. Their long-running back and forth has only increased excitement ahead of what many expect to be an explosive matchup. The fight is scheduled to take place during Mexican Independence Weekend and will be broadcast globally, making it one of the biggest combat sports events of the fall. Back in the UFC world, Justin Gaethje has responded to comments made by Paddy Pimblett regarding a potential rematch between the two. After Paddy expressed interest in running things back and mentioned possible fights against Ilya, Conor, Max Holloway, and Justin, Gaethje quickly dismissed the idea of a second meeting. According to Justin, a rematch simply does not make sense at this stage of their careers, making his position on the situation very clear. Gaethje also reflected on the impact his career has had on fellow fighters and athletes from other sports. He mentioned Rafael Fiziev, who previously said that competing against Justin helped rejuvenate his career and motivation after their battles inside the octagon. Justin also referenced comments from Anthony Joshua, who spoke about the dangers and realities of combat sports and how fighting teaches humility unlike almost anything else. For Justin, that respect shared across combat sports highlights how primal, humbling, and incredible the fight game truly is for every athlete who steps into the arena.